You're listening to the Relationships Uncomplicated podcast. Relationship advice so valuable, you won't believe it's free. And now your host, relationship expert, Idit Sharoni.
Welcome back to another episode of Relationships Uncomplicated podcast, episode 80. I'm your host, Idit Sharoni, and today I talk about how to rebuild trust after infidelity, and to be more precise, how to earn trust back. In my work with couples in the aftermath of infidelity, trust has been a central concept. So has been the loss of it and the need to reestablish it as part of the healing journey. In previous episodes, I discussed the ideas of blind trust versus open eye trust, a concept I first heard from my mentors back in the day. Since then, I continue to develop it through my work with couples healing from infidelity. This time around, though, I thought I'd dive deep into the last link in the chain of lost trust, and that is the re-establishing of it. Many call it rebuilding trust, and so did I, until I read an article that gave it not only a better name, but a better understanding of human behavior. I invited one of my team members at Relationship Experts to discuss and explore this with me. Her name is Dr. Yael Haklai-Neagu, and she is one of our lead therapists and someone I trust with trust. Hi, Dr. Yael. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I love coming
My
here.
pleasure, as always. Dr. Yael and I will provide our take as therapists and affair recovery experts on rebuilding trust versus earning trust in the aftermath of infidelity. We will challenge the conventional beliefs and, as always, offer our own tips. So let's begin.
Oh,
Okay, before we dive into everything, I'd like to present this episode's sponsor. This episode is sponsored by my Infidelity Recovery and Healing program, It's Okay to Stay. If you're struggling in the aftermath of infidelity but want to stay together, you can rebuild trust and heal through genuine expert help from me and my team personally. I started It's Okay to Stay after seeing couples therapy and self-help options often lacked essential components to help couples save their relationship after infidelity. It's Okay to Stay is a complete 8-week coaching program that involves an online roadmap course and one-on-one work with an affair recovery specialist. So if you have faith in your relationship and you want to stay together and heal, let's talk. I'm offering a 45-minute free consultation for couples who want to save their relationship and need expert help. If that's you, just go online to iditsharoni.com/45 and pick a time for a video call that both you and your partner can commit to. I'll hop on. We're first going to start with understanding your struggle, and then we're going to walk through It's Okay to Stay to see if the program is right for you. Look, so many couples try therapy and self-help methods only to be put at odds with each other. But that doesn't have to be you. With expert help, It's Okay to Stay will give you the clarity that you need to understand each other, to heal, and to find a path forward past infidelity. So again, all you have to do to book your free consultation is to go to iditsharoni.com/45. That's iditsharoni.com/45. I'll be honored to stand alongside with you on this journey. Okay, so here we go. I am subscribed to an amazing newsletter by Rachel Botsman. Who is Rachel Botsman, you might ask? I think the best way to describe her is a conventional thought disruptor. She challenges conventional thinking, especially around trust in the corporate world. She also authored 2 critically acclaimed books and given 3 highly successful TED Talks. She also created a course on trust taught at Oxford University. I'll leave some links for you if you want to check her out and her work I'll leave those links in the show notes. So going back to a couple of weeks ago, I got an email as a subscriber. The email said, "Why building trust is a myth that needs busting." Guess how long it took me to open that email?
I'm sure, like a minute, a second.
Zero. Immediately I opened it. It sounded so interesting. Every time I read anything about trust that, challenges the beliefs that most of us have about it, I want to know what are they saying there. So I clicked the link and it invited me to read more and got me into reading an excellent mind-shifting article that made me think my listeners need to know about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spoke to my team, of course, and we all thought that this type of information needs to be in a podcast episode. And Dr. Yael, of course, was the first that came to mind, as we have similar discussions for years. Over the years, we've been exploring with our clients how, in the aftermath of infidelity, similarly to forgiveness, trust needs to be earned and not given.
Yep.
Now we want to add another important layer. Trust needs to be earned, not rebuilt. Let us explain why. So, what's the big deal here? Earned, rebuilt, right? What's the difference between rebuilding trust and earning trust? In her article, Rachel Botsman claims that the term building trust suggests that it is a one-way street, and the power lies within the person deserving of that trust.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of earning trust, as she sees it, and as we wholeheartedly agree, suggests not only that it's a two-way street, or even a collaborative effort, it also suggests that the power lies within the person giving the trust. Now, Yael, I want to ask you, building trust is such a common phrase.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about the difference?
I think the difference between the phrases building trust and earning trust is crucial in the process of healing after infidelity. What I realized after reading Rachel Botsman article is that when you say building trust, it implies that trust should automatically exist, right? Almost as if it's a given right after a breach of trust. This can potentially put pressure on the hurt partner to trust again without acknowledging the necessary effort for the unfaithful partner. So if you think about it as earning trust, earning trust highlights the active and ongoing effort the unfaithful partner needs to put into regaining trust. It acknowledges that trust isn't an assumed right, and it's something that needs to be diligently worked for by the person who broke it.
Yes.
I believe that shift in language sets more realistic expectations in the healing process, emphasizing the responsibility of the unfaithful partner to invest time and effort into reestablishing trust.
Oh, absolutely. Now, if everything that we are saying sounds a lot, I promise we're going to slowly explain everything. So I thought it would be interesting to highlight the difference between the two people connected in this trust journey, the giver and the receiver. This is how Botsman explains it. I'm going to just quote directly from her. She says, to understand why trust and power are so intrinsically linked, it's important to be aware of the two key roles in any trust dynamic. Number one, trust giver. Trust giver is the individual deciding whether to trust someone or not. Number two, trust receiver. That's the individual who wants or needs the trust of another person. When we translate it into the infidelity world, we see the hurt partner or the betrayed partner as the giver of trust and the unfaithful partner as the receiver of trust. Now, here's the important part. What she says is also that it's always up to the giver to choose whether to give someone their trust, and the receiver must always earn it. Who has the power? The trust giver has the power.
Yeah.
Okay? That's like the beginning of the mind shift that we want, that we had, and we want you to always have, right? Understanding that there is a giver and a receiver, and that the power lies within the giver to give that, right? Because I think hurt partners so often feel so powerless in this journey. It happened to me. I had no choice. There's like, it's so debilitating. And I think it's so important that you understand that actually you have the power, but it's not only up to you, and we'll explain it in a few minutes. So Yael, again, coming back to you, what comes to mind for you when you think of giver versus receiver of trust in your work with couples in the aftermath of infidelity?
You know, you might be surprised, but the first thing that comes to my mind is the initial chaos, where both partners are lost in how to start healing, right? The hurt partner feels shock and pain and overwhelmed with a sense of betrayal, thinking they can never trust the partner again. Meanwhile, the unfaithful partner is dealing with the consequences, desperate to regain the trust they shattered, often overwhelming with in guilt and desire to seen as trustworthy. In this messy initial state, there is a crucial distinction between the giver as the receiver of trust. It's like a roadmap in the chaos, showing the roles of each partner, or like showing the role each partner needs to play in the healing process. It's a little bit like the shift from building trust to earning trust. It's a whole different approach, right? So talking about the giver and the receiver of trust highlights the tough but crucial journey both partners need to navigate in order to heal.
Okay. Can you give an example?
So let's think about the role of the receiver, okay? Like the unfaithful partner. So if the unfaithful partner assumes they automatically deserve the hurt partner trust for different reasons, because they're physically present or because they apologized, without recognizing the need to actively invest in earning it, it can also it can hinder the healing process.
Oh, definitely. I mean, so the partner that was unfaithful is on the receiving end of trust, which means they need to do something in order to earn that trust. However, there cannot be any sense of entitlement, at least the way I see it, and I think you agree, right? The fact that you do something does not mean that you are entitled to that trust automatically. It needs to be earned. It needs to be given to you. And we'll talk about that too. So there cannot be any sense of entitlement that obligates the other partner to begin trusting. Can you give another example? Maybe this time talk about the role of the hurt partner as a giver of trust?
Yeah, absolutely. So the hurt partner is the giver, right? So when the hurt partner refuses to offer any chance for their partner to earn back trust, stating something like, it doesn't matter what you're going to do, I will never trust you. Okay, this is a big one.
Yes.
So it closes the door to any possibility for healing, right? While it's completely valid for the hurt partner to mistrust or doubt their partners after experiencing betrayal, this kind of statement sets a roadblock in the path toward healing. It shuts down any opportunity for the unfaithful partner to demonstrate growth, change, and genuine effort to regain trust. So if we think about both the giver and the receiver, it's crucial for both partners to recognize that the path to healing involves willingness and effort from both sides. And Edith, like you said earlier, it's a collaborative effort, right? It's both ways.
Yes, I agree 100%. And you have to understand that if you have a receiver and a giver, you can't just, act a certain way and the other person is not going to let that impact them. Or you can't only be open to receiving, someone's trust, to giving someone the opportunity to earn your trust without them trying to do. So these two have to go together.
Yes, hand in hand.
Okay. Now, one of the most important things I want our listeners to take from our discussion today is that there is a way to earn trust. Okay. I think we leave with the understanding that trust is this abstract thing that somehow either exists or doesn't exist. We think that especially when it comes to couples relationships, where blind trust is a thing. So many of our couples in the aftermath of infidelity attest that they blindly trusted their partners before the infidelity.
Yeah.
What we are not often aware of is that trust was either earned through trustworthy behavior or was never earned and simply given blindly. I sometimes ask my clients if they would buy an expensive computer from a company they know nothing about. Everyone says, of course not. For example, Apple had to work really hard to earn our trust, so we will be willing to pay double for their computers.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Apple acts in trustworthy ways. One example could be, their customer service. You know that if anything goes wrong, you can call, or there are other ways, but there's going to be someone on the other side providing service to you. And, that that's always going to be there.
Yeah.
That's their name. There are many other examples with Apple, but what they do is they act in trustworthy ways. Now, what about people in relationships? What about those who broke the trust that they were given?
Mm-hmm.
How can they earn it back? It's definitely not by hoping time will gain it back for them. And I know sometimes we hope time will just somehow do that. Time does not help you earn trust. And it's also not by offering one-time solutions that are inconsistent. So this is what Rachel Botsman says about this. And this is, again, a direct quote. She says, "You have the power to be trustworthy. Trust is a belief we can't control. Trustworthiness is a behavior we can control through our decisions, values, and choices."
Yeah, I love this quote, I have to say, and just to translate it, right? Don't focus on building trust because you cannot control someone else's trust, right? Focus on yourself instead. Focus on acting in a trustworthy way.
Right.
So this is basically what she says here in the quote.
Exactly. It's like the difference between love and acting in loving ways.
Yes.
Very similar, right? One is abstract love, and the other one is a behavior that creates and sustains it. By the way, we discussed this at length in episode 79. So if you want to listen to it, we definitely, you can go to that blog post. So what does being worthy of someone's trust depend on? According to Botsman, it depends on three things. Number one, how we treat people daily, especially when things are not going well. Two, how we communicate and set expectations. And three, what we decide to do, but equally important, what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
She says, we all have the power to be trustworthy, but we're still dependent on others to give their trust.
Wow, such a powerful quote. I really
It is.
it really resonates with me.
Let me read it again.
Yeah.
We all have the power to be trustworthy, but we're still dependent on others to give their trust.
Yeah.
This is the summary of everything that I guess we're trying to say here. What that means for couples in the aftermath of infidelity is that the partner that was unfaithful needs to know they have the power to act in trustworthy ways, but it doesn't entitle them to their partner's trust. The hurt partner also has the power to give their trust. Going back to what I said in the beginning, this is a two-way street.
Yeah.
Okay, so Yael, what are some examples of acting in trustworthy ways in the aftermath of infidelity?
Wow, there are so many ways, but let me focus on three basic ones.
Okay.
Okay. So of course, number one would be transparency. Being open and honest is crucial, including providing information, like don't wait for your partner to find out. Be forthcoming. I always tell my clients, trickle truth hurt more than the truth.
Oh yes, they do. And this is just another one of the episodes that we have on our podcast if you want to learn more about that. But with transparency, it's such a powerful tool, right? Transparency can be very simplistic, but I don't think that we think of it as a simplistic way. Okay, if you just give your passwords and show your partner your emails and all of that, then you'll have transparency and then you'll earn the trust back. Absolutely, we don't think about it in those terms at all, and we don't discuss this with our partners, with our with our clients in that way. But the other side of it, the lack of transparency, can also mean that either trickle truths come out, and we know from years of experience that trickle truths will create a very, very complicated situation.
Yeah.
Especially with trust. So if the trust has already started to be earned, trickle truths will erase it and take it further back and make it much worse, right? And another form of lack of transparency is gaslighting, right? And it's when one partner knows that there's more to the story, while the other one is saying, no, there's nothing, it's not, but they know. That's gaslighting. That creates a very, very difficult situation. And then when you come forth, when you're forthcoming with the truth, and it's not found out, you bring the truth to your partner. Yes, it may hurt a lot, but partners usually feel relief.
Relief, yes.
Right?
It's something that I've heard many, many times that yes, it can be painful, but the relief of knowing the truth.
Yeah, you would expect that the partner is going to just fall apart and not be, but actually most say that they feel relieved.
Yes.
So know the weight of transparency and how important it is in being forthcoming with information.
Yeah.
What's another example?
So the second basic way to act in a trustworthy way would be accountability, right? Like taking responsibility for actions, acknowledging the damage that was caused. I always say initiate conversations about it. Don't wait for your client, for your partner to bring it up. You bring it up. You initiate the conversation. You bring up the information. So accountability would be another big one. And the third one will be consistency. And consistency, I think it's a key. Demonstrating consistency in behavior and genuine actions, including following through with promises and commitments, and a sustained effort to rebuild what was broken. So
if there's anything that can do the opposite of earning trust, is lack of consistency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because you can make all the efforts in the world. if you're not consistent and you just write like a beautiful, we work with our couples in the program. One of the first things that we help them is write a remorse letter, right? You can write the most thoughtful, genuine remorse letter. But if that's the only thing you're going to do, it's not going to earn you trust. It's going to open the doors, the gates for trust. It's not going to. So consistency is key.
And even if you write a remorse letter and then you being, forgive me for my language, asshole, then it's like, it causes like a greater damage.
Oh, yes. 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 So consistency in terms of consistency with your behavior. If you are being compassionate, continue to be compassionate.
Absolutely.
Don't jump from being compassionate to being, not having any patience towards your hurt partner. Inconsistent in the sense of doing things all the time, every day, day after day after day.
Recognizing that it takes time to earn trust.
Yeah. Okay. I hope we
I just want to say patience. So if we talk about consistency, so patience is a big one too that I didn't mention. So
absolutely. Okay. So what we wanted to do is to take all of this information and actually put it into a form where there are do's and don'ts so that you can use that. And we're going to share that right after the sponsorship message. This episode is sponsored by my Infidelity Recovery and Healing program, It's Okay to Stay. If you're struggling in the aftermath of infidelity but want to stay together, you can rebuild trust and heal through genuine expert help from me and my team personally. I started It's Okay to Stay after seeing couples therapy and self-help options often lacked essential components to help couples save their relationship after infidelity. It's Okay to Stay is a complete 8-week coaching program that involves an online roadmap course and one-on-one work with an affair recovery specialist. So if you have faith in your relationship and you want to stay together and heal, let's talk. I'm offering a 45-minute free consultation for couples who want to save their relationship and need expert help. If that's you, just go online to iditsharoni.com/45 and pick a time for a video call that both you and your partner can commit to. I'll hop on. We're first going to start with understanding your struggle, and then we're going to walk through It's Okay to Stay to see if the program is right for you. Look, so many couples try therapy and self-help methods only to be put at odds with each other. But that doesn't have to be you. With expert help, It's Okay to Stay will give you the clarity that you need to understand each other, to heal, and to find a path forward past infidelity. So again, all you have to do to book your free consultation is to go to iditsharoni.com/45. That's iditsharoni.com/45. I'll be honored to stand alongside with you on this journey. Okay, so we're going to answer the big question, how to earn trust after infidelity. And as you'll see, we divided the screen into two sides, the betraying partner side and the betrayed partner side. So the first thing you want to do is act in trustworthy ways with consistency and intentionality. These are things that we mentioned before. You have a lot of examples on how to do that, but that's very, very important. And then as the betrayed partner, you want to allow trustworthy behavior to influence you, which means you're going to allow the earning. That's where you have the power.
Yeah.
Now, notice that I put the word acts and the word allow in bold, because here, again, the combination, it has to happen simultaneously. You can't just act in trustworthy ways with a partner who's not allowing trustworthy behavior to influence them. And you can't not act in trustworthy ways and then have a partner who's going to allow, a behavior to influence them. Because if one of you does that while the other one isn't, trust is not going to be earned.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has to happen simultaneously. And the power of the betraying partner is in the acting in trustworthy ways. And the power of the betrayed partner is in allowing the trustworthy behavior to influence them.
Yeah.
So you both have the power.
And allowing is not something that happens overnight. It's really important to emphasize. It takes time. Don't feel pressure to allow it. It takes time, but just have the option to allow it.
Yes, yes. We are not expecting, I mean, this is not like a
Quick
boom
fix.
tomorrow. It's a journey, right? Let's go for another one. As a betraying partner, you want to acknowledge that you are a trust receiver, which puts you in a place where you don't feel entitled to the trust, but you feel that you can receive it if certain things will happen, right? And then as the betrayed partner, you need to acknowledge your power as the trust giver. This is very, very important, like I said before, because hurt partners feel like they don't have any power in anything that happened here. This is very important that you understand that you do have power. You have the power to give your trust, right? And your trust needs to be earned, of course. Let's go for some don'ts. So we'll start with the betraying partner. As the betraying partner, you don't want to overcompensate with simplistic solutions.
Yes.
Give an example, maybe.
Yeah, any grandiose gestures. People think that if they'll buy gifts or go for a fancy vacation, it's gonna be a quick fix. Or I don't know, thinking that if you'll have one good conversation, that will be it. Okay, so but overcompensating is doing too much with it. It's not genuine.
Right.
Like you want it to be genuine and authentic and deep and meaningful and not just
right. And I can't tell you how many, and I'm sure you've had the same situation with your clients where you overcompensate and you come home with a gold necklace or something like a diamond bracelet.
Or Ferrari.
Really? It actually makes the exact opposite, creates the exact opposite situation or reaction for you. So those things do not help. So just refrain from doing them. Stick to the genuine, trustworthy behaviors.
And it can cause this vicious cycle. Like I got you this huge gift and you're not grateful. And then it's like a vicious cycle.
And that's acknowledging that you are a trust receiver. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Another don't is don't lose patience with your partner, with your trust giver. Like we said before, it's a journey. People are different. I mean, we do hope that trustworthy behaviors will get, the hurt partner to react, but there is no time limit. There is no, this has to equal that. People are different. They handle this situation differently, and it's a journey. Trust needs to be earned over time, and it needs to be earned day after day after day after day, and it takes time.
Yep.
Okay. Anything you want to add about that?
I think we said it earlier about patience and consistency. So
Last thing that we don't want you to do is don't make inconsistent or short-term efforts. Right? I think it goes very well with the overcompensating. Like anything that is just either big but done once. Or, even if it's genuine. For example, writing a very thoughtful letter. If you only think that this letter is going to earn you the trust back, then you are wrong.
Yeah.
It's many letters over a period of time. It's letters and conversations and other things that you do, the combination of a lot of things. So you can't just hope that you can leave a note every day and hope that that will earn you. So it's the combination, the consistency. I
think being intentional about your effort And when you say a short-term effort, so you talked about the remorse letter. I always tell my clients, yes, you write a thoughtful, very long remorse letter. It's not a magic one, right?
Mhm.
It's not going to be one thing and then everything is like magic changes. So you need to acknowledge that it takes time, that it's just a one step towards, or like a gate towards a new pathway of interaction.
Right.
So the
Right.
expectations can get you frustrated. Then again, we go into this vicious cycle.
Yes.
So
Let's talk about the don'ts for the betrayed partner.
absolutely.
So you don't want to become stagnant in non-trusting. That's what you mentioned at the beginning when partners or hurt partners usually, when they say, I will never trust a word that comes out of your mouth, or it doesn't matter what you do, I'm never going to believe you. That type of um, sentence also sets you up to never really giving trust.
Yeah.
Right? It's like when people say that, I always say, stop, let's think about it. I get that that's how you feel, and I respect that. And I think you probably should feel like that given everything that you've been through. It's not that it doesn't make sense, but it just sets you up in a certain place where, okay, so what do you do if nothing, right? So you never want to be stagnant in non-trusting, and you want to just allow. I'm going back to that word, allow. Allowing means vulnerability. Allowing means you can get hurt again. Allowing means, trusting. But don't forget that it's not just allowing and being vulnerable, it's also having the power to give trust. So you are in power here.
Yeah. Just one thing about
Sure.
being stagnant in non-trusting. I think it's a slippery slope to being contemptuous, right? Like
You
it's
could be. Oh,
such
yeah.
a toxic place to be, and it's just poisoning your relationship. If you decided to stay, right, and we're talking about couples that decide to stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you decided to stay, find a way slowly to allow, to give.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds, we're saying it, we don't think it's easy.
Oh, no, no, no.
We work really, really hard with our clients to get to a place where they can allow, right? We don't think it's just something you tell yourself, okay, today I'm going to allow. It takes some work.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing we don't want you to do is get stuck in all or nothing mentality. It's very similar to getting stuck, to get becoming stagnant, because when you are in that mentality of all or nothing, you also think you either trust your partner blindly or you don't trust them. It's like 0, 100, or 0,
Yeah.
right? And none of those really work in reality, in real life, in real relationships, in long-term relationships where there are two people who are human. So you never want to get stuck with, I either trust blindly or I'll never trust, because that's not the reality.
Yeah.
And that will not allow you to earn, that will not allow you to give trust. And that will not allow your partner to ever earn your trust back.
Yeah.
And the last thing is, don't solely lean on verification as a means to trust. What I mean by that is going back to the transparency that I mentioned before. So sometimes hurt partners will depend on verification, the ability to verify what their partner is saying, where they are at, what they are writing in their emails, what. So if I have access to your phone and I can read all your text messages, if I have access to your location, I can see every second of where you are. We like transparency. We just don't want you to lean on it and think that you can earn trust. Trust is not an engagement, is not the lack of unknown. it's a confident engagement with the unknown.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why you don't want to just rely on your ability to verify where your partner's whereabouts. You can do that, and it's important, but make sure that it's like maybe part of what you do. It can't be all of it.
Yeah.
Hope that's clear.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else you want to add about this? Yeah.
I think just the all or nothing mentality, we talk about it in length in episode 79. I think it's such an important, it's another roadblocks that get you away from your goal to have to heal and to experience connection and to repair your relationship. So it's something to pay attention to.
Yes. And by the way, we also prepared this slide, and it's going to wait for you in the show notes on the website. So if you go to relationshipexperts.com or relationshipexpertsonline.com, and you go to podcast, you will, and this is podcast 80, so you will find it there. Feel free to, print it out. Okay, so hopefully earning trust feels a little clearer now than before. We definitely saw this distinction was helpful with our clients in the program. So we hope that it helps you and opens maybe another channel for trust to grow. Okay, so it's time to say goodbye. Thank you so much, Dr. Yael, for helping me with this and bringing your wisdom into this podcast episode.
That was my pleasure.
Mine as well. And to you, our listeners, please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you can get alerts when each episode is out. And I'd love it if you could rate the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, or wherever you listen, just so that we can get as many couples to listen to this valuable information. Have an amazing rest of your day or evening. We can't wait for our next episode. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.